We've got 5 minutes. I'm going to put you in the position of Boris Johnson starting now. So, Julia, you're in charge during this crisis. What is the first thing you would do differently?
First thing, bring in the military early and keep the testing going. Sack everyone at Public Health England. They've been responsible for all the big problems on testing and PPE, so I'd get rid of all of them.
Who is your Deputy Prime Minister?
Mike Graham, just for the laughs.
He'd be a perfect deputy, wouldn't he? Okay, you can hire anyone in the world to be your chief of staff. So the person who is the Dominic Cummings to Boris Johnson or the Alistair Campbell to Tony Blair, who are you relying on?
Just discussing this over dinner, and we've agreed. My 13-year-old daughter, she can make stuff happen. She feels very strongly about stuff. She's very passionate. She's a deliverer. I would put her in charge. I'm serious. I think she would be better than most of the adults who put themselves forward.
Well, Donald Trump is trying it, isn't he?
Yeah.
Julia, you can bring back one former UK Prime Minister and one former US President to advise you. They can be alive, they can be dead. Who would you choose?
US President, I went straight for Bill Clinton. Incredibly clever, whether you like him or not and what's gone on in his personal life. The guy got stuff done.
And he's a political genius.
He is a political genius. He knows how to schmooze with people. And I thought, genuinely, I wasn't a fan of this Prime Minister when she was actually in power, which gives you a clue. Margaret Thatcher, you know why? Because she didn't care about opinion polls. She did what she thought was right. Now, a lot of the time I disagreed with what she did at the time, but thank God she did do a lot of what she did. So I think that actually she's someone who based things on science, on the evidence, and didn't care about opinion polls. So I think it'd be Thatcher and Clinton for me.
Out of the current cabinet, or you might say some of them are a little bit embattled at the moment, but out of the current cabinet, who would you keep in their position?
Definitely Rishi Sunak, the absolute star of the cabinet. Dominic, Raab as well. I don't know why he gets such a bad hit in the media, other than the fact he's a Brexiteer. And Michael Gove, but I would put him back in charge of schools. The blob needs sorting out.
What would be the 3 first policies that you would implement?
Shaking up the entire civil service and local government. I think Brexit proved to us, and this is just an absolute joke. They are not competent. They don't even believe in democracy, a lot of these people. A massive shake up of that system. Also shaking up education. I'd bring back grammar schools in every single locality, starting with the poorest areas. I loved that policy under Theresa May. And we're sorting out the teacher training colleges. We have got to stop teaching being basically a hard left occupation and bring back the sane people. Also, I would like to see immediately, without any further ado, NHS and social care joined up. No one has to sell their house to get free care because they've got dementia when they've got cancer. Let's get joined up thinking in terms of our healthcare.
What happens to the BBC in a Julia Hartley-Brewer regime?
Well, massively scaled back. I'd like it to carry on, but massively scaled back. Certainly no pop music stations, none of this BBC 3 and Radio 6 or whatever. But just, quality stuff, non-commercial stuff that may not happen if it had to be reliant on adverts. Also, this is a mad idea. Why not hire people on the basis of diversity, but not of skin colour and sexuality, but diversity of thought? So I'd like them to hire, at least 50% of people who don't think The Guardian is the Bible.
And some working class folk at the BBC would be nice.
Silly. That would be too crazy. Everyone had to go to Oxford. You know the rules.
No deal Brexit, Julia. Would you do it?
Absolutely. I mean, we've already done Brexit. This is just a trade deal. You do a trade deal if you both think it's mutually useful. If they're not going to give us stuff we want, we don't want to give them the stuff that they want. No problem. We trade with China. We trade with the United States. India without a trade deal, not a problem.
Speaking of China, what about our relationship with that state? Because obviously you've seen the US and Australia take a much tougher stance than what we have so far. Where do you stand on that?
Oh, I do not understand why we treat China and President Xi Jinping as a normal country. This is a murderous totalitarian regime. We should treat it as the prior state it is. The whole cheap goods thing, well, all very well. No, I think we should be massively cutting China's influence in the world. I think they are of absolute danger to our democracies, and we should be standing up to them.
What happens to the royal family when you're PM?
Royal family, I got very unpopular, I know, with talkRADIO listeners. I am a Republican. They can all stay around. I reckon the Queen could run for election and she'd win 99% of the votes. I've got no problem with that. Definitely after Queen, no Charles.
They're gone.
No Charles, no William, definitely no Meghan and Harry.
So who is president and how do you select president of the UK?
I would sooner do it by raffle. We could have a Saturday night lottery draw for who's going to be president for the next 10 years, and I don't want their families have to be involved. I mean, every other country manages it. I'm done with this. I've got massive respect for the Queen, but I think everyone in the generations below, no, thank you.
Well, that's 5 minutes.